Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to cut through the noise and get straight to the essential insights. Today, we're diving deep into a document that's, well, pretty crucial for anyone looking to fortify their organization's cybersecurity and privacy defenses. It's the recently updated NIST Spiral Publication 850R1, titled Building a Cybersecurity and Privacy Learning Program. Hail. Now, while NIST publications often seem focused on federal agencies, the wisdom packed into this one, it's pure gold for any organization, really, regardless of size or sector. Anyone who wants to genuinely protect their digital assets and sensitive information.
Absolutely. Think of this deep dive as like your comprehensive guide to cultivating a resilient cybersecurity and privacy culture. We're going to systematically unpack the core strategies and, the practical steps NIST has laid out, helping you effectively manage the ever-present human element of risk in our, well, rapidly evolving threat landscape. It's less about just ticking boxes, much more about truly embedding security and privacy into your organizational DNA.
That's exactly right. Our mission today is to act as your expert instructors, essentially guiding you through this pivotal publication. We'll explore it section by section, just like a well-structured learning program itself. Should be helpful. We'll pinpoint the most impactful takeaways, explain their real-world significance, and, aim for those aha moments. Moments that leave you feeling truly well-informed and hopefully ready to apply this knowledge. Our goal is to show you how to transform mere compliance into a powerful strategic advantage for your organization.
Exactly. We'll be looking at why a comprehensive cybersecurity and privacy learning program, or CPLP, as NIST calls it, is far more than just like a training checklist. It's about fostering fundamental behavior change and building a robust, positive security culture. We'll even touch on the historical context of this publication, noting its September 2024 update. And this isn't just a minor revision, it's actually a significant consolidation. It brings together and refines guidance from earlier NIST publications, like SP 850 from way back in 2003 and SP 816 from 1998. So it's really integrating, 2 decades of evolving best practices into one cohesive framework.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're talking about a document that offers a life cycle approach for building a robust CPLP. And it's applicable to all types of organizations, large or small, established or just starting out. It's all about drawing from broadly accepted standards, regulations, and best practices to create a customizable program. The core idea is to encourage tangible behavior change as a key part of risk management, ultimately nurturing a strong privacy and security culture. What's truly insightful here is how this document integrates with major federal legislation, like FISMA 2014 and the National Defense Authorization Act of 2021. While these highlight federal requirements, the underlying principles, they're universally valuable to any entity serious about its digital defenses. All right, let's jump into the first part. The executive summary. This really lays down the foundational truth, doesn't it? It highlights that genuinely preparing your workforce for cybersecurity and privacy risks demands a strategic approach. This isn't just a checkbox item. It requires thoughtful planning, careful resource allocation, and commitment driven right from the top.
Precisely. This section underscores that a CPLP is an integral part of a much larger organizational effort to actively reduce cybersecurity and privacy risks. It signifies a crucial shift in perspective, moving beyond just meeting minimum compliance requirements. The aim is to embed security and privacy as crucial and related elements of a comprehensive, strategic, and continuous risk-based program. This thinking aligns directly with significant updates, particularly the 2016 revision to OMB Circular A130, which really emphasized integrating security and privacy across the entire federal information lifecycle. So the insight here is that CPLP isn't some kind of add-on. It's fundamental, part of organizational risk management.
So what's the practical implication of this for you, the listener? It means cybersecurity and privacy are no longer solely the IT department's responsibility. They are, in essence, everyone's job. The document makes this crystal clear. Everyone in an organization plays a role in the success of an effective cybersecurity and privacy program. The objective is to cultivate improved norms and behaviors that reduce cybersecurity and privacy risks while creating a privacy and security culture. It's about collective responsibility.
Right, and it's not just about general awareness either. The publication specifically points to the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, or the NICE framework. This framework is key because it helps identify the precise knowledge and skills required for those with dedicated IT, cybersecurity, or, related job responsibilities. This prompts a crucial question. Beyond general literacy, how do organizations effectively tailor specialized learning for the vastly diverse roles within their workforce, making sure the right people have the right knowledge at the right time?
Good point. And the publication provides practical guidance on these key steps. It emphasizes building an effective CPLP that covers all personnel, from full-time employees to contractors. It guides you on identifying who needs advanced, specialized training beyond just basic awareness. It offers some methodology for evaluating the program's effectiveness, which is huge. And it stresses engaging in ongoing, continuous improvement. Ultimately, it's all about systematically minimizing risks to the organization through a dynamically evolving learning program. Okay, moving into Section 1, the introduction. This section really sets the broader context for why CPLPs are so vital. It states that reducing and managing cybersecurity and privacy risks truly requires continuous attention from everyone. End quote. The CPLP is highlighted as a key component of an organization's overall strategic plans, helping build that collective understanding of risks and clearly defining everyone's role in mitigating them.
Yeah, and one important clarification here is the document's use of the term CPLP itself. It uses it generically, kind of as an umbrella term, encompassing all elements of a learning program. So from broad awareness campaigns to practical exercises like tabletop simulations or phishing drills, to topic-based training, role-based training, even formal educational programs, it's all under the CPLP umbrella. It explicitly states it is not necessary for organizations to rename their programs as CPLP. This term is applied generically. And that's a significant point, I think. It cuts through potential confusion about terminology, emphasizing the overarching goal, providing continuous learning opportunities throughout an individual's career.
And they even define the learner pretty concisely as an individual who is acquiring specialized knowledge or developing a skill, which is helpful because it reinforces that this guidance applies to everyone participating, from entry level right up to senior leadership. The core purpose of this NIST publication is really to provide comprehensive guidelines for both building and maintaining these CPLPs, ensuring that organizations allocate appropriate resources towards strategic program plans and well-defined learning goals.
Right. And to put this into a broader perspective, this guidance is designed for a surprisingly diverse audience. It's for workforce and learning professionals, think chief learning officers, curriculum developers. It's for senior leadership and management CIOs, CSOs, CPOs. And critically, it's for cybersecurity and privacy specialists, those subject matter experts, the SMEs, who actively assist in CPLP activities. This multifaceted audience really highlights a key insight. A truly effective CPLP requires collaboration, an organization-wide commitment, not just an isolated effort by one department.
Yeah, definitely. The document lays out several key considerations for CPLP managers. It's quite a list. Things like developing mandatory organization-wide CPLPs aligned with enterprise goals, ensuring these programs align with the organization's specific rules of behavior and policies, actively informing the workforce about available learning resources, that's important, providing both foundational and more advanced training, identifying data-driven behaviors that directly impact risk, and crucially, measuring attitudes and workforce sentiment to track how the security culture is developing. That's quite a lot to consider, but it paints a complete picture of program management. Okay, Section 1.2 deals with the scope of the CPLP guide. So what exactly is covered by this guide? The scope, as defined, outlines how a federal organization can effectively design, develop, implement, and maintain a CPLP as an integrated part of its enterprise cybersecurity and privacy program. And it's incredibly broad in its reach.
It really is. A practical question here is, who exactly is meant to be included? Well, the guide covers all organizational personnel. And that's not just full-time employees. It extends to part-time staff, interns, retirees who might still access systems, contractors, external partners, consultants, researchers, basically any user who accesses enterprise systems or data. This breadth means the CPLP has to encompass a wide range of learning initiatives, awareness programs, social engineering campaigns, new hire training, regular refreshers, even integrating external certifications.
What's particularly useful here, I think, is understanding what falls outside the direct scope of this specific guide. The document explicitly states that efforts aimed at reducing risks from, say, physical privacy or security threats, dedicated insider threat programs, and other broader human risk management concerns are not directly covered here. Now, the CPLP clearly contributes to these wider efforts, no doubt, but this distinction helps you understand where to specifically focus your CPLP development efforts according to this publication. It maintains a clear boundary.
Right, it clarifies the focus for this specific guidance.
Moving on to Section 1.3, which introduces the CPLP lifecycle. The document presents a very clear lifecycle, emphasizing that these programs aren't static. They must be actively managed plans, demanding continuous attention and adjustment over time. So,
Definitely not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Precisely. The document includes a figure 1, which visually illustrates the 4 key phases: plan and strategy, analysis and design, development and implementation, and finally, assessment and improvement. What's crucial for organizations to grasp is the flexibility built into this. These phases can occur in sequence or simultaneously, allowing for adaptability. It really underscores the substantial breadth of work involved in maintaining an effective living CPLP.
So what's the key takeaway for you listening from this life cycle approach? It means your CPLP needs to be intrinsically valued as a core element of your organization's broader learning culture. It can't be an afterthought. It absolutely must be linked to organizational goals and recognized as something adaptive, continuous, and evolving. The fundamental idea is to empower personnel to continuously expand their capabilities, fostering a true learning organization where lifelong learning is genuinely appreciated. And if you have other learning programs already running, well, the CPLP should ideally be seamlessly integrated with those.
Good point. Avoid creating more silos.
Okay, Section 1.4 gets to the heart of why CPLPs are so important: developing a cybersecurity and privacy culture. It states, this culture, once established, should naturally emphasize, reinforce, and drive its desired behaviors throughout the organization.
What's truly insightful here is how the document differentiates between 2 primary risk sectors that CPLPs address. First, there are the technical risks. Systems being poorly designed, unpatched, or compromised by external threats. These are typically tackled with targeted topic-based and role-based training for the IT practitioners. But second, and often more challenging, are the human risks. These arise when individuals fail to maintain security standards, or maybe when systems are poorly configured due to human error, leading to vulnerabilities. A well-valued CPLP significantly increases an organization's ability to address both types of risks, not just the technical ones. It does this by cultivating awareness and actively changing behaviors.
Which leads to a critical question. How do leaders effectively drive this kind of culture? It has to come from the top, right?
Absolutely. The document highlights that leaders must actively support, champion, and participate in learning activities themselves. They have to set the example. CPLP managers are responsible for creating rigorous measurement systems to consistently evaluate workforce attitudes and engagement. Meanwhile, human resources plays a vital role by reinforcing these desired norms right from the onboarding process. It's genuinely a holistic approach spanning various departments.
Yeah, it has to be.
And ultimately, the document emphasizes a powerful truth. People are an organization's greatest asset. A truly positive security culture means the entire workforce is well-versed in cybersecurity and privacy risk management needs, expectations, and values. The content of the CPLP should be crafted so learners feel like valued participants in helping the organization manage risks. This concept is also deeply connected to foundational NIST frameworks like the Cybersecurity Framework, CSF, the Privacy Framework, and the Risk Management Framework, RMF. All of them consistently highlight the paramount importance of awareness and effective training.
Okay, Section 1.5. This is often where people get tripped up. The relationship between cybersecurity and privacy. The document clarifies their independent disciplines, but they share significant overlapping objectives. It's a crucial distinction.
It is absolutely crucial. Cybersecurity at its core is about protecting information and systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction. The classic CIA triad plus safety, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Privacy programs, however, are fundamentally about managing risks to individuals that arise from data processing throughout the entire information lifecycle. Their aims are predictability, manageability, and disassociability for individuals, alongside, of course, compliance with regulations. The key insight here is that while managing cybersecurity risks certainly contributes to privacy, it is not sufficient on its own. Privacy risks can, and often do, arise completely independently of any cyber incident or breach.
That's a really important point. Can you give us a concrete example of that? Something that really drives it home.
Sure. The document provides a compelling scenario. Imagine an organization combines several de-identified datasets. While each dataset individually might not identify someone, combining them could inadvertently lead to re-identification. Or maybe a de-identified dataset, when publicly released, could be re-identified when combined with other publicly available information. In both cases, no traditional cybersecurity breach occurred, no hacker broke in, yet significant privacy risks, possibly even harms, still arose for individuals. This highlights a crucial challenge for CPLPs. How do you effectively teach your workforce about these subtle risks? Risks they might not immediately associate with cyber, but which pose real privacy threats.
Right. So it's about teaching the workforce not just to spot cyber incidents, but also to identify and report what the document calls privacy events. And for incident response pros, it's about understanding when a cyber incident is also a privacy event, triggering additional specific procedures. Organizations clearly benefit from a coordinated and flexible CPLP approach, giving them the flexibility to decide whether to integrate or keep learning activities separate based on topics and roles. This involves strategically aligning learning tracks with work roles, proactively managing risks, incorporating lessons learned from incidents, and identifying learning obligations in contracts.
Exactly. It's about that holistic view. Expanding on privacy, Section 1.5.1 talks about privacy risk management concepts to emphasize. It's vital that personnel whose roles can impact privacy really understand how to identify and address privacy risks. And the NIST privacy framework is a great resource here, providing that common language.
So, for you, the learner, what does this practically mean? It means you need to grasp the concept of privacy events. These aren't always breaches in the common sense. They are potential problems arising from system operations with data, digital or non-digital, across its entire life cycle, from collection to disposal. Understanding that a privacy event isn't always a breach is a key distinction.
Exactly. Privacy problems can emerge from direct product use or even subtle interactions with systems, sometimes even when data isn't directly linked to identifiable individuals. The document describes these problems ranging from sort of dignity-type effects like embarrassment or stigmas to much more tangible harms, discrimination, economic loss, even physical harm. It's a whole spectrum. Figure 3 in the document does a good job illustrating the relationship between these individual privacy risks and the broader organizational impacts like non-compliance costs, revenue loss, or harm to brand reputation.
Okay, so this is where what really comes in, right? CPLPs are most effective when they help the workforce understand both the direct impact on individuals and the resulting impacts on the organization. For instance, the document mentions secondary use of data for marketing. It might not be a breach, but it could lead to loss of trust and non-compliance costs for the organization.
Precisely. It highlights the nuances beyond just traditional security incidents. Then, Section 1.5.2 briefly touches on coordinating cybersecurity and privacy learning efforts. Given that most organizations operate with limited resources, this section just highlights that coordination is absolutely key. Your CPLP should actively coordinate with existing cybersecurity and privacy programs to avoid duplicating efforts.
What's astute here is the document's recognition that duplication isn't just inefficient. It actually harms both programs, especially where integrated programs aren't already well established. It subtly encourages organizations to look for synergies rather than letting departments operate in silos, optimizing resources and impact.
Exactly. Smarter use of limited resources.
Okay, Section 1.6 moves on to the who of CPLPs. Roles and responsibilities. Understanding these is crucial. This section details who is accountable for ensuring the workforce has access to and completes their training.
Yeah, the document points to related guidance, like NIST's Risk Management Framework, SP 837R2, and the NICE framework, as complementary tools for identifying these roles and their training needs. It also mentions insights from the NIST Privacy Workforce Public Working Group for Privacy Pros. It's really important to formally document these roles. This ensures efficient resource use and contributes to the CPLP's maturity. And it acknowledges that in smaller organizations, sure, a single person might wear many different hats. That's just reality.
Right, so let's break down these roles. First up, Section 1.6.1, the head of organization,
Sure.
starting right at the top. This individual CEO, agency head, director, whatever the title is, definitively responsible and accountable for information security protections and must prioritize CPLPs.
This leads to a pertinent question. What are their specific duties beyond just general oversight? According to the risk management framework, they must ensure the organization has adequately trained personnel to assist in complying with the security and privacy requirements. This includes designating clear CPLP leadership roles, making sure the program is well supported with people and funding, actively confirming staff knowledge and skills, identifying and measuring cyber privacy behaviors in a data-driven way, and supporting the ongoing measurement of the culture. This goes way beyond just signing off on it. It demands active, visible sponsorship.
Serious commitment from the top. Okay, Section 1.6.2, senior leadership. This is the group below the head of organization. CIOs, CPOs, COSOs, chief data officers, etc. FISMA and OMB Circular A130 explicitly assign CPLP responsibility to these roles.
Their role is to set strategic direction, identify and manage risks, ensuring that resources are available, and overseeing personnel with significant responsibilities. What's particularly impactful is their responsibility to actively champion workforce requirements. This means leading by example, participating in their own CPLP training, identifying and documenting responsibilities in job descriptions, documenting learning requirements in individual development plans, establishing clear policies, and designating staff with significant responsibilities, ensuring they're trained before getting access.
This section even suggests forming a senior leadership committee that meets regularly with CPLP managers to discuss strategy, provide resource support, receive reports on performance, and connect learning teams with operational teams and SMEs for emerging risks. That's a serious ongoing commitment.
It really is. It shows the level of engagement needed.
All right, section 1.6.3, CPLP managers. These are the folks on the ground, right? With the tactical level responsibilities.
Exactly. Their collaboration is extensive. They work with curriculum teams, instruction teams, security operations, ISOs, CISOs, HR, procurement, risk executive teams, you name it. Their duties include facilitating timely development and dissemination of learning material, offering feedback mechanisms, overseeing reviews and updates, ensuring efficient resource use, assisting in tracking and reporting, helping identify those with significant responsibilities, and providing regular status reports up to senior leadership. It really prompts the question, how do you effectively manage such a diverse and demanding set of responsibilities? Needs strong cross-functional skills.
No kidding. Okay, section 1.6.4, managers. Just regular managers and supervisors. They play a critical role, too, ensuring their personnel comply with learning requirements. They're the frontline implementers.
Absolutely. Their duties include working with senior leaders and CPLP managers, creating individual development plans, IDPs, for those in significant roles, promoting professional development and certifications, ensuring their teams understand system rules, maintaining general workforce competence, and working proactively to reduce errors from lack of awareness or training. They are the direct enforcers and cultivators of the CPLP culture at the team level.
Makes sense. And finally, section 1.6.5, the system user, that's you, me, everyone, defined as an individual authorized to access information in information systems to perform assigned duties.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. According to the risk management framework, their responsibilities are foundational. Adhering to organizational policies that govern acceptable use, using organization-provided IT resources for defined purposes only, and reporting anomalous or suspicious system behavior. The powerful insight here is that every single user's actions or inactions directly contribute to the organization's overall security posture. It's not just the big tech controls, it's countless individual daily decisions. Okay, moving into section 2, CPLP plan and strategy. This is where you lay the groundwork for how you build the program. A strategic plan provides that organization-wide view of the current state, where the organization wants or needs to be, and how to address the gap. It's the blueprint.
This planning phase is indeed the bedrock. For federal agencies, OMB Circular A130 mandates comprehensive CPLPs. What's particularly insightful here is the emphasis on a robust program with a variety of materials and engaging opportunities to keep learners current. This isn't about static training, it's about strategic development and continual improvement beyond basic compliance.
Right. The planning stages are crucial for evaluating priorities, budget, resources, and communication. A well-developed plan should articulate how risk management and the culture enable all personnel to assess risks with every action and decision, shifting the mindset.
From compliance to integrated risk awareness.
Exactly.
Section 2.1, Building the Strategic Plan, underlines that the CPLP strategic plan must intersect with the organization's broader continual workforce development plan. It's about understanding the organization's structure, mission, and how cyber and privacy contribute.
A critical, practical point. The CTLT strategy should always be clearly stated and will most likely be reviewed by the Senior Leadership Committee and agreed upon before any funding is approved. Emphasizes executive buy-in early on. This raises a key question for you. What essential elements must such a plan address to get that high-level approval? The document outlines core components, vision and mission, strategic goals and objectives, training approaches and action plans, tactics, and crucially, metrics and reporting, provides a clear structure for planning.
And the plan needs to describe how it supports a culture of risk-based decision-making, how it closes knowledge gaps, how it aligns with the mission, risk tolerance, learning goals. It must include policies, how they're communicated, and metrics and measurements that will determine whether the current programs are meeting goals and learners are retaining knowledge and skills, changing their behaviors, and developing positive attitudes. more
Right.
than just attendance.
Right, measurable impact. Furthermore, it needs to outline operational tactics, identify key stakeholders, CIO, CSO, CISO, SAOP, CPO, HR, use risk assessment results, consider gap analyses, ensure it meets regulatory requirements. And a significant detail, plan for a diverse workforce accessibility, remote workers, travelers, and include experiential learning and content atomization, shows the depth required.
Section 2.2 focuses on developing CPLP policies and procedures. Policies are the what clear, simple statements of expected behavior. Procedures are the how describing implementation. Twin pillars.
The benefits are clear. Clear expectations, documented executive support, auditable oversight, defined strategic goals, clear info resources, structured training approach, documented culture evolution. This prompts the question, what do these policies actually look like in practice?
Section 2.2.1 gives us concrete examples of learning program policy statements. Imagine policies like, the CIO and CISO must establish a cybersecurity training program, or all personnel must receive initial training and regular refresher training. And here's one with teeth. Personnel must complete training within 24 hours of getting an account. If not, access suspended. Direct consequence.
What's insightful is the detail, down to penalties. Another example. All personnel with significant security responsibilities must receive role-based training prior to obtaining access and complete refresher training each fiscal year. The document refers to NIST Guidance AT1 as the source, showing alignment. These examples show the specificity needed.
Section 2.3 explains aligning strategies, goals, objectives, and tactics. Implementing using a common method. Start with goals, define objectives, then outline operational tactics. Every activity supports the strategy.
Best practice is using SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Table 1 outlines this. Strategic plan sets priorities. Strategic goals define distinct elements. For example, reducing phishing clicks. Objectives are measurable outcomes. Tactics are the tools methods. For example, phishing exercise, newsletters. Bring structure to planning.
Section 2.3.1 gives us Scenario 1, protecting sensitive printed data. Makes it concrete. A physical security review finds sensitive printed data left on desks. Common human risk.
CPLP manager acts. One-time issues, streamline planning, structure, strategic plan, meet privacy compliance, strategic goal, support privacy program. Objective, ensure employees handling sensitive data are trained aware. Tactic, provide keep it clean, stickers and folders, demonstrates a swift, targeted response.
Section 2.3.2 presents Scenario 2, developing a new regulation-required training program. More complex. New regulation requires cyber pros to implement a specific procedure. Skill development needed.
CPLP manager works with policy owners, define strategy, goals, objectives, tactics for new training, decide on online for remote workers. Strategic plan, enable cyber pros to recognize responsibilities, develop skills. Strategic goal, update training to comply. Objective, launch online training on the new procedure, accessible remotely. Tactic, schedule for 100% compliance, develop continuous monitoring, illustrates a structured program launch driven by regulation, shift from awareness to skill acquisition.
Okay, Section 2.4, determining CPLP measurements and metrics. How do you know if it's working? Measurements and metrics are the key drivers for assessment and improvement, essential for quantifying effectiveness, identifying changes, justifying budget.
Vital to distinguish quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative, numerical, example 1 to 5 scale. Qualitative, descriptive, observations, interviews. Key insight, measurements must go beyond compliance, capture impact on capabilities, attitude, behavior change.
Section 2.4.1, measurements, emphasizes careful consideration, driven by goals, objectives, regulations, common questions, what laws apply, how often report, data for audits.
Measurements must tie directly to learning goals, objectives, and outcomes. What's the difference? Goal, general statement, instructional perspective. For example, help learners understand benefits of approved AI tools. Objective, specific statement, what participants should do after, e.g., teach learners how to 1. Identify approved AI tools, 2. Select appropriate tool. Outcome, learner-centered, measurable, achievable, how learner will be evaluated. Example, after participating, learners will be able to access approved AI tools and create an AI activity. Table 2 gives clear examples. This distinction is crucial for evaluation.
Super important distinction. Ensures you measure the right thing, understanding, capability, or application. Also, a vital warning. CPLP managers must manage risks of processing learning data, especially with LMSs. Privacy matters here too. Section 2.4.1.1 digs into quantitative measurements, numerical objective data. What are common examples to track?
The document provides a really comprehensive list. Training attendance, performance assessments, completion rates. closed-ended survey feedback, cost per participant, online program usage, logins, time spent, number getting certifications, cyber incident data limited to employee-generated incidents or topics mitigatable by learning, metrics on incident reporting ability, phishing simulated attack response tracking, longitudinal data on behavior change, OS updates, MFA adoption, password adherence, employee testing data, pre-post 3-month post for retention, performance data by department, frequency of updating training material, extent of cyber privacy events, reduced downtime, ability to recognize report privacy disclosures, changes after technical training, reduced privileged accounts, paints a detailed numerical picture.
What about the descriptive data? The feel of the program, that's qualitative measurements in Section 2.4.1.2.
Correct. These are based on descriptive data, collected via observations, interviews, focus groups, open-ended survey fields, provide insight into the learning experience.
Examples include instructor observations, attitude surveys on culture, open-ended feedback, detailed participant reports, focus group discussions, suggestion box submissions. Allows you to understand the why behind the numbers. Much richer understanding, Section 2.4.2. From measurements to metrics, you've got raw data. How do you turn it into meaningful metrics? The analysis step.
This is challenging but crucial. Metrics translate measurements into insights, help improve content, engagement, funding, demonstrate ROI. NIST research found many organizations have limited metrics, giving an incomplete view.
The document gives great examples of measurements becoming metrics. Course attendance, metric percent registered who attended. Measurement registration attendance records. Analysis trends in registered versus attended. Course completion. Metric of percent and attributes of completers. Measurement number, roles, or units who completed. Analysis trends attendance versus completion. Engagement during courses. Metric interaction level. Measurement number participating in activities, comments, questions. Analysis engagement trends, positive, negative feedback. Course cost per participant. Metric cost versus number of participants. Measurement cost, number attended. Analysis is cost effectiveness. Behavior change per participant. Metric percent who changed behavior, e.g. reported phishing. Measurement number who received reported test email. Analysis is impact of training on recognizing reporting.
This raises the question, how ensure metrics are meaningful? They must help assess effectiveness and achieve learning outcomes. SP 800-55V1 gives more guidance, moving from raw data to actionable insight.
Okay, Section 2.5. Learning program audience segments. Essential to segment your audience when planning. The document breaks into 3 main groups with overlap. Figure 4 visualizes this.
Exactly. The 3 segments are 1. All users, everyone. 2. Privileged access account holders. Restricted access, need special care, get additional training. 3. Staff with significant cybersecurity and/or privacy responsibilities need an individualized, role-based program for specific knowledge skills. This tailored approach ensures relevance and impact.
Section 2.5.1 defines all users. The broadest group, everyone participates, agrees to policies, completes recurring training, the baseline.
Referred to as cyber privacy literacy training, aligns with NIST at 2, often recurring, annually or more. Critically, needs updates for system changes, events like audits or incidents.
Insightful part is the range of all users. Full-time, part-time contractors, consultants, guest researchers, visitors, guests, other agency personnel, everyone.
They must understand, comply with policies, accept rules of behavior, work with management on training needs, be aware of actions to protect info. Examples of topics: supporting mission, passwords SMFA, handling data, using AI tools, remote access, collecting, protecting PII, reporting incidents, avoiding social engineering, phishing, ransomware, spam, malware, identifying and addressing privacy risks, knowing resource contacts. Document even suggests identifying those posing greater human risk and incentivizing positive change in non-punitive ways. Foster improvement, don't just punish.
Section 2.5.2 focuses on privileged access account holders, those with additional access or responsibilities, like sysadmins. Because they access critical resources, they need more training to avoid accidentally causing vulnerabilities or misusing data.
CPLP manager must coordinate this additional training with the account holders manager, HR, training managers. Ensure it's delivered and current. Critical segment because their actions have a disproportionately large impact.
Section 2.5.3. Staff with significant cybersecurity and/or privacy responsibilities. Includes some privileged users, requires additional training. More specialized.
NIST Guidance AT3 defines role-based training. Comprehensive addresses management, operational, technical roles, physical, personnel, technical controls. Covers policies, procedures, tools, methods for defined roles. Examples: CISOs, privacy officers, cyber managers, analysts, incident responders. Linked to job duties, documented in performance plans, may require professional development certs.
Section 2.5.4 asks, determining who has significant cybersecurity and/or privacy responsibilities. FISMO requires role-based training, but how do you identify them?
Multi-step process. Define significant work roles, identify staff aligned, often directed by CISU ISACA offices with HR partnership. How specific should identification be?
Document says roles should be in position descriptions, hierarchy charts. SP 800-181-1, nice framework, provides a detailed lexicon for understanding the related knowledge and skills. Clear mapping needed. Section 2.6, determining scope and complexity, reiterates the ultimate goal. Reduce risks through cultural and behavioral changes, not just compliance. Critical distinction.
Focus here is tailoring. Complexity of the material must be determined before development begins and be commensurate with the role. Content based on target attendees' role responsibilities requires coordination with HR, CLOs. Learners appreciate appropriate material, not one size fits all.
Section 2.7 lists the CPLP elements, the actual building blocks, delivered via various platforms. Managers select most effective types based on goals, budget, schedule.
3 typical elements. 1. Awareness activities. 2. Experiential learning practical exercises. 3. Training. While annual mandatory training is common, many other activities throughout the year reinforce messages, especially for those with significant responsibilities. Goal: ensure personnel know roles responsibilities and can act against risks.
Section 2.7.1 details awareness activities, ongoing throughout the year. Keep security top of mind.
Can be campaign-oriented or ad hoc, based on subject, threats, events. Examples for all users: messages on login screens, screensavers, email signatures, newsletter articles, posters with tips, activity fairs, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Data Privacy Week, tips on employee materials, pens, notepads, periodic emails responding to events, the constant nudges that reinforce the culture.
Section 2.7.2 sounds practical, experiential learning, described as specific learning scenarios that simulate events and incidents. Hands-on.
Includes simulated social engineering, phishing, smishing, vishing, learning games, data processing quizzes, tabletop exercises, hands-on virtual labs, attack defense scenarios, and cyber ranges. How do you measure these?
Measured with click-through or reported measurements, e.g. reported phishing email or clicked link. NIST fish scale mentioned for SIM difficulty.
Crucial. Legal team involved. Avoid negative impacts like using real brands. Employees informed these are learning opportunities, not punitive. Should not be punitive, nor should any employee be called out. Other experiential learning tabletops, better for those with significant responsibilities. Details in SP 800-84. Section 2.7.3 covers training content. Broad term. Content to increase job-related knowledge skills. What techniques can be used? A comprehensive list. Synchronous, instructor-learners together, virtual, physical. Asynchronous, self-paced, on-demand podcasts, animations, online. Virtual-led, real-time virtual instruction. Cyber range, safe practice environment. Podcasts, self-paced audio like us. Animations, visual concepts. Demonstration, instructor step-by-step. Scenario-based exercise, tabletop discussion. Self-paced online, popular for distributed teams, testing accountability features. On-site, instructor-led, traditional, interactive, peer presentations mentoring.
Insightful advice. Blend techniques for effectiveness. Show video in instructor-led session. Allows focus shift, reinforce material. Optimize the experience. Section 2.8. Establishing the CPLP plan priorities. During planning, evaluate critical risk factors to determine priorities. If phased approach needed, budget resources, what factors consider?
3 key factors for prioritization. 1. Role and organizational impact. Broad awareness for all users, often high priority. High trust, high impact positions, privileged access, also high priority. Protecting high value assets or deploying privacy sensitive products can drive priorities. 2. State of current compliance. Look at major gaps, target deficient areas, suggest gap analysis. 3. Availability of materials and resources. Determine if appropriate materials available or if existing ones can be repurposed. Provides framework for strategic decisions on where to invest first.
Section 2.9, Developing the CPLP Plan, emphasizes the plan defines detailed program elements supporting the strategy. Many ORs use standard templates.
Detail level varies. Important point. As program matures, CPLP managers conduct recurring reviews, i.e. at least annually, with stakeholders. Iterative process, not a one-time document.
Section 2.2 discusses CPLP resources. Crucial element of strategy. Determine existing resources and what's dedicated. If major redesign needed,
Revisit strategy.
Resource is defined as any asset required to meet goals and objectives such as people, materials, equipment, and technology. Striking. Immediate jump to budget as primary consideration. Suggests critical role in success.
Section 2.10.1. Establishing a CPLP budget, strategy approved, priorities set, funding next, how determine budget and typical costs.
Typical costs include personnel, PMs, designers, instructors, artists, developers, classroom space materials, printed electronic materials, virtual space, webinars, job aids, LMSs, licenses per seat, awareness materials, posters, swag, professional services, culture mapping efforts.
What if budget is limited? Common challenge.
Effective CPLP is still possible by leveraging existing resources, implementing cost-effective monitoring, prioritizing cyber privacy as shared responsibility. Explore resources from other agencies, partners, vendors, free low cost. Inventory evaluate in-house materials.
Document gives excellent guiding questions for budget requirements, mission needs influenced, regulations, shared internal resources leverageable, in-house versus outsourced cost-effective, requirement specific, material ready when, how many need training, update frequency, delivery mediums, in-house expertise, cost and staff time.
What about shortfalls? CPLP managers must work with senior leadership, advocate for program value, develop strategies for shortfalls, adjust strategy, phase plan, constant balancing act.
Section 2.0.2, CPLP staff and locations. People are critical. Those managing federal CPLPs report need for combo of technical knowledge and professional attributes, communication, creativity, interpersonal skills, multidisciplinary.
If no budget for in-house developers, research what similar agencies did. Some in-house, others outsource. Different info needs different delivery, online versus physical. Planning requirements allows resource allocation, even for display space for posters.
Section 2.1, communicating the strategic plan and program performance. Huge. One of the most important aspects is collaborating. Communication is foundational.
Involving stakeholders employees early leads to greater success. Communication focus, how CPLP meets goals, impacts personnel, engages stakeholders, solicits feedback, supports culture, build buy-in, momentum.
Advise tailoring messages, senior leadership, high-level summary, managers' benefits, their role, HR, onboarding, training integration, unions, CFOs, costs, measurements, CLOs, infrastructure, individuals, how they contribute, schedule.
Key insight, avoid harmful language like users are weakest link, especially to leaders. Communications must include details, course titles, descriptions, goals, objectives, audience, tracking consequences, delivery, schedule, why mandated, legislation. Ensure clarity, accountability without alienation.
Now into Section 3, CPLP analysis and design, where the EDDA model comes in analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. Traditional model.
Document notes common modification. PADI, adding planning first, aligning with Section 2. In this phase, manager identifies needs gaps, audience, existing knowledge. Gaps translated into learning objectives in design phase, ensuring relevance.
Section 3.1. Analysis phase determines organization's learning performance needs the gaps between current and desired states, helps define needs, prioritize resources, align learning goals to mission.
Who should be on analysis team? Executive management, regs, cyber privacy personnel, SMEs, identifying knowledge skills, system owners, program managers, system impacts, learners themselves, input on requirements. CPLT managers must continually advocate for analysis linking to risk management, culture development.
Section 3.1.1 stresses importance of the analysis phase. Tempting to rush skip, but warned against. Why critical?
Skipping can lead to critical problems. Wasted spending, misunderstanding gaps, need other resources later. Using training for non-knowledge gaps, systemic issue. Giving right personnel wrong info, basic for privileged. Giving wrong personnel right info via ineffective medium, or wrong info via effective medium, counterproductive. Repeating failed material, core insight, even informal discussion better than nothing. Analysis establishes a clear vision for the next steps, prevents costly mistakes.
Section 3.1.2 outlines steps of the analysis phase, repeatable 5-step process. 1. Identify learning needs based on work role activities tasks. 2. Identify learning program audience. 3. Match needs to audience. 4. Assess current knowledge skill level. 5. Determine learning gaps.
Section 3.1.2.1 Identify learning needs. Most important step for initiating new CPLP phase. Triggered by new tech, legislation, emerging risks. Prioritizing needs helps focus. Techniques to define needs. Conduct learning needs assessment. Review YAV analysis reports. Identify regulatory requirements. Review relevant cyber privacy risks as mitigation. Review lessons learned after action reports from incidents. Crucial opportunity to learn from mistakes. Strengthen weak areas. Vulnerability reporting. Section 3.1.2.2. Identify the learning program audience. During analysis, identify defined audiences. Supervisors coordinate with CPLP function.
Potential audiences. New employees, contractors too. Focus on policies, rules, access. Integrate into orientation onboarding. Visitors might need AUPs. All users, general workforce. Regularly scheduled, annual plus TAP, preferably more frequent. Analysis includes previous performance, new recs, privileged access account holders, additional training for responsibilities, consider new systems, cloud, updated rights, staff with significant cyber privacy responsibilities, role-based training, specialized training, products, networks, systems, IR, reskilling, upskilling. Examples given. Coulson, sysadmin in all three categories. N, web publisher with significant response. Illustrates personnel in multiple programs. Section 3.1.2.3. Match the identified learning needs to each audience. Match needs to segments. All users. Recognize risks. Act, report. Adhere to rules, AUPs.
Privilege access. Judge risks appropriately. Use systems without harm. Nice framework useful for role-based KS for significant cyber privacy roles. Org job analysis key. Privacy consult CPO SAOP.
Document introduces DIF model. Difficulty, importance, frequency of task. Helps identify what KS-CPLP should focus on for this group. More targeted. Section 3.1.2.4. Assess the audience's current knowledge and skill level. Before designing, determine what audience already knows. CPLP provides new knowledge, reinforces existing skills.
Methods for assessing. Guided conversations interviews, SMEs, managers, owners. Review recent job task analyses. Analyze events responses indicating skill levels. Performance-based assessments to validate capabilities. Conduct training with existing elements for baseline metrics. Helps determine if new training needed or existing needs modification.
Section 3.1.2.5. Determine the learning gaps. Final step in analysis phase. Identify learning gap difference between existing KS and ideal state for learning goal.
Gap info is the bridge, used in design phase to create programs specific enough to address needs. Transition from understanding problem to developing solution.
Section 3.2. Design phase. Translate gaps into learning objectives. Create blueprint for how CPLP addresses gaps.
Process culminates in systematic blueprint, design document outlining approach. Guiding question. What KS does audience need? What gaps will material close?
Section 3.2.1 outlines steps of the design phase. 4 formal steps. 1. Create a design document. 2. Conduct survey of available training, internal, external. 3. Identify learning objectives. 4. Summarize CPLP or element requirements.
Section 3.2.1.1, creating a design document, the blueprint for development implementation. Created by CPLP manager, reviewed by stakeholders for approval.
Typical elements. Purpose, goals, background, audience objectives, content survey, build by, outline, instructional strategy, media activities, delivery medium assessments, measurements, metrics, signature page, comprehensive roadmap. Section 3.2.1.2, conducting a survey of available training. Before building, see what's out there. Survey existing materials, org, other agencies, partners.
Key outcome. Identify gap between current efforts and needed materials. Content found should be adaptable with reasonable effort cost. Smart resource use.
Section 3.2.1.2.1 lists external sources of CPLP materials. Where to look beyond building from scratch.
Several options. Vendors, COTS courses, custom dev understand needs ownership. Nonprofits grants, edu materials, low no cost. Other organizations, adapt materials, shared events materials, FECE events, workshops, timely material sources, advisories, websites, themed events, conferences, webinars, broad spectrum of acquisition strategies.
Section 3.2.1.2.2.
Yeah.
Internal sources of CPLP materials. Don't forget your own backyard. Partner with functional managers already running learning programs.
Insightful idea. Functional training, finance, HR, often lacks adequate cyber privacy. Cross-department partnerships allow review for accuracy completeness, develop modules to add missing components, ensures integration, consistency.
Section 3.2.1.3. Identifying learning objectives. From analysis to design. Consolidate findings to identify learning objectives. Ensures effort aligned with needs.
Transition from analysis gaps to design, objectives to close them, is fundamental. Objectives guide content creation.
Section 3.2.1.3.1 provides examples of identifying learning objectives. Practical scenarios. Scenario 1, MFA implementation. Analysis. Employees using single factor, new MFA token approved. Gaps. Need info training on new policies, processes, why important, specific details for privileged accounts.
Design objectives. Enable employees understand single-factor risks, understand why MFA adopted, identify role, install app, verify token receipt, utilize token 100% of the time, very specific, measurable.
Scenario 2. Protecting sensitive employee bank info. Analysis.
Audit found finance employees not protecting bank info during travel cost processing. Gaps. Lack basic understanding of policies for sensitive privacy info, immediate damaging consequences.
Design objectives. For finance employees, describe what is sensitive PII and bank info, describe policies, procedures for protection, adequately protect info in use on system using online forms, demonstrates incident driving targeted training.
Section 3.2.1.4, summarizing CPLP or element requirements. Before development, consolidate requirements using analysis design results. Clearly articulate competency gaps, learning objectives.
Comprehensive list of requirements to consider. Accommodate learning styles audiences. Meet accessibility. Content updated, maintained. Support workforce diversity. Objectives provide aligned to mission. Separate sections per objective. Visual elements reinforce. Interactions engage, promote transfer. Managers check progress LMS. Support required reporting. iHelp Desk trained to support CPLP. Outsourced vendors support reporting LMS. Ensures thoroughness.
Now Section 4. CPLP development and implementation. Plans move to reality. Requirements evaluated, budgeted, provided. Audience reach objectives guide this phase.
Involves diverse personnel. Management. Needs, resources, gaps, evil. Cyber privacy specialists, SMEs. Task, HAS, RICS, gaps, guide material to peer review. Training professionals. Acquire, customize, develop, present, evil, content work with SMEs. Acquisitions budget, externally sourced. Once baseline solid, feedback strategy ensures materials continue support.
Section 4.1. Developing CPLP materials. After analysis design reviews, managers have design docs. What additional info needed for content creators?
Need requirements document for new content curriculums. Incorporates design info plus additional details for developers, editors, designers, in-house vendors. Vital for acquisitions budget too.
Section 4.1.1 gives general guidelines for developing or acquiring new CPLP materials. Typical questions to review for requirements doc. Checkpoints for quality relevance.
Key prompts. Which audience segments? Specific risk behaviors to address. KS Learner, acquire, improve. Contribute to positive culture. Engage personnel. Budget request restrictions timing. Who reviews, approves. User testing. Measurements, metrics included. Content must be topical, relevant, not quickly dated. Support remote adaptive tech. Include assessments aligned to objective outcomes, specific to audience. Robust quality control.
Section 4.1.2 focuses on developing new materials for the all-user learning program. Delivered throughout year, needs updates. How to develop dynamic, effective materials for broadest audience.
Challenging learners might expect minimal effort, yet evolving risks mean new crucial content always emerging. Key. Reinforce messages, send refreshers, speculative phishing rates high. Repeated messages become retained messages.
Insightful emphasis. Make awareness topical without becoming monotonous or intrusive. Tricky balance. Requires varied formats. Monthly emails, signatures, posters.
Additional considerations. What should all know? Latest risks, common risks, new mission goals. Constraints from analysis, delivery date, remote workers, accessibility, steps for full participation. Popular topics. Social engineering, passwords MFA, data handling, AI tools, remote access, PII, incident reporting, spam aware, privacy risks, resources. Goal. Ensure all fulfill obligations.
Section 4.1.3. Developing new materials for the Privileged Access Account Holders Learning Program. Similar but specific. Create requirements, doc aligning goals with funding org needs.
Additional considerations. What should privileged know regarding cyber privacy? What procedures must they follow for privileged accounts? Starting points. Understand rights briefs. Review risks. Consult CIO, CICPO. Align goals with budget. Requires higher detail specificity.
Section 4.1.4 covers developing new materials for those with significant cybersecurity and/or privacy responsibilities. Needs more detailed and nuanced learning program approach due to customized skills dev.
Multiple requirements docs might be needed. CPLP manager partners with human capital, CLO, developers, managers. Complexity commensurate with role, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Cyber role-based training in SP 800-181-1.
Section 4.1.5. Acquiring learning materials from external sources. Evaluate external sources, federal programs, vendors, academics, some low-cost free.
Budget allowing. Licensed vendor course libraries. Acquisitions follow same learning criteria as new creation. Consult agency contracting office. Pragmatic approach.
Section 4.1.6 stresses conducting learner testing on new CPLP elements. Before full implementation, user testing, crucial. Don't launch untested training.
Assess content for each audience segment. Meets needs, appropriate skill level. Testing evaluates delivery, language, value, acceptance. Feedback should be iterative and incorporated at every step, not just after implementation. Proactive approach saves headaches.
Section 4.2, implementing new CPLP elements. Actual distribution delivery. Focus on connection between learner and content. Plan accepted, implementation begins.
Critical. Part of life cycle, not one and done. Periodic reviews updates ensure dynamic relevance. Continuous engagement adaptation.
Section 4.2.1 outlines steps for implementing a new CPLP element. Repeatable steps.
4 key steps. 1. Communicating implementation sets expectations. 2. Measuring success. Establish metric reporting rigs. 3. Building schedule, logistics, timely delivery. 4. Planning to evaluate success, review post-implementation feedback. Everyone involved part of well-designed communications effort to keep personnel managers informed.
Section 4.3, communicating the CPLP implementation. Huge part of developing shared culture. Develop plan for each phase, involve comms team.
Determine timing for informing managers, supervisors, personnel, frequency of reminders. Each element needs detailed communication. Titles, descriptions, purpose, prereqs, goals, objectives, outcomes. Audience segments, tracking method consequences, delivery method, accommodations, schedule considerations, verification for significant rispus, clear explanation why mandated benefits legislation policies, unique titles numbers, info to all affected, learners, managers, HR. Ensures clarity, accountability.
Section 4.4, establishing measurements, metrics, and reporting. Ensure new implementations allow performance metrics measurements collection. Review during development.
Goal, not just compliance, but enabling ongoing development. Considerations for reporting, LMS integration, tracks registration, attendance, completion, non-LMS elements, how track face-to-face virtual hybrid, metrics for how element contributes to positive culture behavior improvement. Finally, CPLP managers meet senior leadership to review performance, address risks, identify improvements.
Section 4.5, building a CPLP schedule. Establish primary calendar, possibly automated via LMS, org-wide, align with org availability, holidays, events, IT releases.
Send reminders ensuring instructors' material allocated in advance. Forethought prevents logistics headaches, ensures smooth delivery.
Section 4.6, planning to evaluate program success. Element delivered, work isn't over. Post-implementation activities begin, fuel assessment improvement. How plan for this?
Even passive elements, posters, impact can be measured. Survey familiarity. Key items. Send post-training feedback surveys, instructor feedback surveys, determine attendance completion rates, other mandated org reporting, budget reconciliation, consolidate all feedback metrics reports for assessment improvement. Continuous feedback loop makes CPLP effective.
Now Section 5, CPLP assessment and improvement. Effective CPLP continually measures, evaluates performance, adapts to legal regulatory risk changes, requires collaboration.
About analyzing org risks, decrease in issues targeted, and reviewing material efficacy, learner feedback. Remember, SMART goals for quantification. Assessment isn't judgment, but iterative enhancement.
Section 5.1 outlines steps for assessing and improving the CPLP. Evaluating improving whole program or single element.
3 steps. Create CPLP assessment report. Analyze measurement metrics. Review compliance. Evil effectiveness via feedback. Review report with senior leadership. Agree changes. Evil budget for improvements. Make CPLP improvement efforts. Review update plans. Implement changes into next revisions. Structured approach ensures evolution.
Section 5.2. Creating a CPLP assessment report. End of campaign or regularly. Create summary doc for senior leadership. Analyzes attendance, feedback, metrics.
Tailored for leadership, avoid jargon without explanation. Includes measurements, metrics, regulatory compliance info, evaluation of CPLP effectiveness, instructor, content, learner, supervisor, org feedback, comprehensive overview of program health.
Section 5.2.1 revisits measurements and metrics, revisited in assessment. Key drivers for assessment improvement phase. The evidence.
Metrics monitor accomplishment, quantify implementation, effectiveness, efficiency, improve content, engagement, funding, show ROI. Report includes results from quantitative and qualitative instruments, reinforces continuous importance.
Section 5.2.2 covers regulatory compliance reporting. Managers must know prepare for all CPLP-related compliance regs reporting, non-negotiable.
While compliance, often primary focus for leadership, it should only be the starting point for a robust CPLP program. Quantifiable metrics, workforce trained %, exercise results, demo compliance. Work with policy owners ensuring reporting satisfies recs. Questions, who trained, participation match goals, compliance identified roles, met recs.
Section 5.2.3, evaluating CPLP effectiveness. Managers periodically eval overall effectiveness, report to leadership for support, where metrics measurements applied.
2 major components, instructors and content. Reviewing instructor performance ensures effective delivery. Content success determined by stakeholder feedback. Dual evaluation.
Section 5.2.3.1 focuses on instructor evaluation, crucial for learning environment, facilitation, motivation. How evaluate?
Managers' leadership find right instructors, in-house external. Performance monitored via observation feedback. Effective qualities. Communication, positive engagement, interactive methods, responsiveness.
Learner feedback tips. Allow anonymous, ask specific questions. Methods, knowledge, classroom MGMT. Provide feedback summary. Instructor observation tips. Direct observations by experienced designers, peer obs, inform instructors. Ensures fair, supportive process. Section 5.2.3.2, content evaluation. Instructors provide vital feedback on material itself.
Managers work with instructors reviewing comments, adjust material. Instructors provide feedback on accuracy, ease of instruction, adequacy, relevance, timeliness. Direct feedback from frontline invaluable.
Section 5.2.3.3 discusses learner, supervisor, and organizational evaluation and feedback. Multiple feedback types needed. Introduces Kirkpatrick model's 4 levels.
Level 1. Reaction. Immediate feedback on usefulness, engagement, environment. Smile sheet. Influenced by engagement interaction. Questions. Relevant. Satisfied. Worth time. 3 important things learned. Additional topics. Overall impression. Gauges immediate impact. Level 2. Learning. Assesses if intended KS acquired. Common. End of course assessment. Best practices. Questions commensurate with material. Clear objectives, outcomes aligned. Practical assessments mimic work. Various methods. Case studies. Labs. Level 3. Behavior. Feedback from learners peer supervisors if learners applied KS in work role. Best practices. Questions identify gaps, need reinforcement, or org structure limiting application. Follow-up 3-6 months after activity. Level 4. Results. Impact on org, sometimes ROI. Managers analyze enterprise perspective. Its best practices. Establish baseline metrics before. Use QuantQual. Acknowledge time for full impact. Attribute changes to learning program.
Document gives concrete example. Align org goal. Mitigate vulnerabilities in 48 H'ers. With learning goals, outcomes, measure org results, trend analysis of mitigation time. Connects learning to tangible business outcomes. Section 5.2.4. Reviewing the CPLP assessment report with senior leadership. Final step. Managers meet senior leadership committee reviewing performance, address risks, identify improvements.
Review leverages measurements freeze, ensuring lifecycle ongoing. Discussion. Specific outcomes, resource impacts, project proposals, issues, solutions, scope, benefit, estimates. Strategic decisions made for program future.
Section 5.3 covers CPLP improvement efforts. CPLP provides robust program. Managers analyze accuracy, quality, appropriateness, follow-up ensuring goals met.
NIST CSF, Improvement Identify, Privacy Framework, Monitoring Government P, SP 853R5, Continuous Monitoring, Offer Guidance. Iterative process, reviewing, updating, maintaining, happens during any phase. Based on reports, new recs, managers identify improvement opportunities.
Section 6 is the summary. We've reached the end of this deep dive. Ultimately, CPLP goal. Enable org to withstand cyber privacy risks. Build resilience.
Workforce is a crucial part of creating positive cultural norms. Insightful advice. Against penalizing those not adapting quickly. Instead, shine a light on individuals, teams, departments that improve performance, establish best practices, help build positive CPLP culture, celebrate successes.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If feedback indicates change required because something not working, ensure program nimble enough for adjustment. Do not wait for end of year. Emphasizes agility.
Raises key question. How foster agile improvement mindset? Goals of continual improvement do not need to be built on ashes of past failures, but should be seen as opportunity to grow and strengthen. Positive culture celebrates successes, acknowledges constant risks.
So what does this all mean for you, our dedicated learner? You've just completed a deep dive into NIST SP 850R1. You're now armed with a comprehensive understanding of how to build and maintain a robust cybersecurity and privacy learning program. Remember, this isn't just about ticking boxes for compliance. It's about actively fostering a dynamic culture of security and privacy that genuinely protects your organization's most valuable assets, its data, and its people.
Indeed. By grasping the CPLP's essential life cycle, understanding the roles and responsibilities, mastering strategic planning nuances, and committing to continuous improvement, you are now equipped to be a powerful driving force in making your organization demonstrably more secure and privacy-aware. The ultimate key isn't just knowledge, it's about actionable, continuous learning leading to measurable, positive behavior change.
Yeah, exactly. And here's a provocative thought for you to mull over as you go about your week. If a well-structured, continuously evolving CPLP can profoundly transform an organization's approach to cybersecurity and privacy, What other critical areas within your organization could benefit from a similar, highly structured and adaptive learning program? Where else can knowledge acquisition and behavior change be strategically managed for significant, tangible impact?
Think about it. The foundational principles we've discussed today, from meticulously assessing needs and designing targeted content to diligently measuring impact and cultivating a positive learning culture, they're remarkably universally applicable. How might you apply this very deep dive approach to other pressing challenges you face beyond just cybersecurity and privacy?
Something to consider. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive. We sincerely hope this exploration of NIST SP 800-50R1 has provided you with invaluable insights and a clear roadmap for strengthening your organization's cybersecurity and privacy posture. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep making those aha moments happen.